Gentlemen, welcome to the broadcast. We're going to start off with our question. Oh, hey, Pompous, hey, Aggressor. I like the sunglasses. The shades are working for you. The AK also is I like the use of leading lines, very artistic. I'm digging it.
He scares me. I don't want to face this guy.
Why does he scare you, Aggressor?
You better be scared.
He has an AK-47 and a Christmas tree.
Yeah, but you've got, like...
You have two guns on each side of your shoulder right now.
Gotta take it down.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, I mean, you've got cool T-shirts. Those are dangerous.
Yeah, let's be real. It's not as cool.
No, you're right. Okay, come on.
All right. Let's get to the question of the day. Aggressor, favorite tank line to play?
Probably the IS-7 line. It's pretty broken at every tier. You can carry a game if you need it to.
It is the tank line of heroes.
All right, Pompous, I'm going to take a guess. Yours is a tank destroyer of some sort.
No, actually, one of my friends, Blue Stealth, told me that his favorite tank line was the British artillery because he could, he likes sitting near the red line, preferably not leaving the cap. So when he told me that, I thought, Arty was the tank class for me. So I went up the British Arty line, especially the FE 3805 is Blue Stealth's favorite Arty. I can tell you that for sure.
And so I guess this is a big shout out.
And ergo, my favorite Arty as well.
I see. You're
my favorite tank in the game.
What does Blue Stealth mean to you, Pompous?
Well, I mean, blue stealth, red line, they kind of mean the same thing, even though that blue and red are kind of different colors.
Yeah, they're very different, actually.
But, I mean, they mean the same thing, let's be real. So
that's deep.
I mean, it's very deep.
It's really deep, Pompous. I'm going to have to step back and study that one a little bit.
All right, Aggressor, you guys been playing pretty well, but you definitely have had your hiccups along the way for the last week. What's going to change right now going into top tier? What have you guys done different to get ready for them and kind of iron things out as you were?
Well, same thing we always do. We studied them pretty hard, and we made strats that we thought would work really well against them, and hopefully they do.
All right. And just so you know, I don't know if you've gotten the news. Eclipse versus Apex ended in a tiebreaker. That one went 4-5. Apex taking away the win. That's big for you guys on Dare. You have to get a full win today to maintain or to secure second place. Is that something that's running through comms right now? Is that in everyone's minds on TeamSpeak? Because I believe there's a listen-in that we can go back to a few weeks ago where we hear you guys discussing that.
It's definitely a relief that we don't have to worry about winning an extra game to get second place now.
All right, so it's a little easier on you guys. And then Pompous, top tier is here to crush streams, are you not?
Oh, of course.
All right, so what does it mean for you guys taking away a win? If you can, for Dare.
It pretty much this win will be a lot for us. I think the thing is about our season is that it's kind of been up and down. We're kind of a new team-ish, so we haven't really been playing together all that long. So a lot of our mistakes and problems come with like cohesion issues, but we've been fixing that in the scrims and practices and such. So I think this game will really show what we've been practicing, and it will really drill home that we are a team that will go to LAN and will win.
All right, those are fighting words. Aggressor, this is your last statement to Pompous or to your fans outside.
My last statement? Well, I think you guys are going to lose. Sorry.
All right, very polite. Pompous, your response?
Why does your emblem look like a toilet seat?
All right, I'll leave it at that. Gentlemen.
Why does your camel look like garbage?
It's a Christmas present. Come on, man.
Okay.
Just like that AK from your mom?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I think I'm supposed to stop you guys now. Thank you, and I'll see you on the battlefield.
See you guys.
Bye. Oh, that was cute. That was great. I like that. I love that. That was personality. That shows us the relationship between Pompous and Aggressor.
Yeah, and Pompous' special love for Blue Stealth, apparently.
Do you know what's going on there?
I'm guessing some sort of rivalry. For those that don't know, Blue Stealth actually played in the Gold League many seasons ago when it was still Tier 8. Very, very solid dude. He's actually one of the bigger streamers in North America for World of Tanks. So I'm guessing there's some story there about Pompous playing artillery and ruining Blue Stealth streams and Blue Stealth not taking it too well. I don't know the details, but I'm going to assume it's something along those lines.
That sounds like it adds up. You can he's over on Twitch, and sometimes I tune into him, a few other people as well. Anyway, back to the maps. So
going over this, Ruinberg 1-1. Let's just go with that. Now, Dare I think could pull off a win on attack, but let's just go with a 1-1. On to Himmelsdorf, a map that Dare definitely struggle on, but top tier aren't that spectacular on either.
So
let's just say 1-1. Then we go on to Proc, which is a map that Dare have actually played a lot this season.
Yeah, and then they should do okay, should they not?
I definitely think so, and Top Tier actually haven't played it too much themselves, so that may tip it in favor of Dare. And then we go on to Mines, which is a map that Top Tier definitely struggled on. There was that one match against 07 where 07 really abused them. Their artillery just pounded the grills.
Yes.
Top Tier was trying to run the 2 grills sitting back in defense and run the boost, and it really didn't work off. So if the first 2 maps go 1-1, I think Dare are fine at that point, even if they drop a few rounds, because I think the later 2 maps will go in favor of Dare.
Okay, and then Cliff is a tiebreaker if it comes to it.
If it comes to that, toss-up at that point. If it's defense, Top Tier's defense has really been historically weak.
Yeah.
A lot of the same players were on CD last season, and their Cliff defense was pretty unspectacular. So hopefully that doesn't carry over into this team. There is a new caller in there and everything, so I don't know that they'd make the same mistakes they did last season.
Possibly. We'll have to see how that one goes down. Of course, we do have to talk about the last time these 2 teams played. The last score was 5-3. So Dare was ahead that time. And they ended up winning. It was a little closer. And just like with Apex and Eclipse earlier, anything can happen. So let's get ready and head right on in to battle number 1.
Ruinberg, a mixed type map. The defending team starts the battle on the green, and the attacking team starts at the centre square of the town. Bases are located quite far from each other. Both bases are better controlled from the village when playing a heavy setup. It's better to attack the first base through the top direction with the help of several well-armoured heavy tanks. For the attack on the second base, it's better to use a more mobile setup and either play through the centre or split forces. In general, the map is not easy to play on. Teams often use blind shots and risky shifting of the forces from one flank to another.
And the lineups coming in: Dare, a 50B, an IS-7, a Batchat, 2 TVPs, a Grill, and Chase Potato and a 5100. I'm going to guess we're going to see that as some sort of block to attack cap. We'll get to that in a second. Ruinberg, 2 113s, 4 Top Tier, a 50B, a 215B, a Batchat, Pompous, and a T110E4. An interesting choice there, to say the least. And then an AMX 1390.
You know, I've heard people talk about the E4. I don't see anything wrong with it. It's an E3 without the mobile turret, and correct me if I'm wrong, fire rate, general gun performance is better.
It's basically an E100 with less HP. It's the way I look at it.
Really? Why do you look at it like that?
Very similar gun. About the same mobility. Armor works about the same, probably a little bit better on the E100, and the E4 carries just less HP than the E100.
So what advantages does it have? Stealth?
It definitely... I don't actually think it has much of a stealth advantage over the E100. Probably a little bit, but I'm not too familiar with the camos on how they stack up next to each other.
Not like a functional or really actionable stealth increase, more like a, yes, you have some more stealth. Ooh, opening moves right now. Let's jump straight over. Rude Awakening going for an opening jump that is, well, I gotta say it's a smart call, but it is certainly risky. He's gonna be able to live for now. He's all loaded up. 6 shots in his 1390. And where are the tanks of Dare? Well, they're holding back. And I think you're right, Rox, with that 5100 call. I expect we're going to be seeing exactly what you were talking about.
Well, at this point, actually, I don't know that we will, because they have that 1390 there. They have to come up with a plan to get that 1390 out. If they can't do that, then any sort of a play at the north, no matter what they have to block, isn't going to pan out.
Is flipping it around and hitting the other side of the map a viable option right now for Dare? Is that something they can reasonably pull, or are they just going to have to put up with it and hope that they can deal with it?
That's certainly an option, but at this point, I would rather go towards the south for a few minutes, try to maybe get some guns down there, pull some guns away from the north, and then make a play to get that 1390 out, and then go from the cap from there. Taking it straight on is going to guaranteed lose you a lot of HP. Now, provided the 5100 is going to go down regardless. They are not planning on it blasting. And what is he doing right now?
Firing?
Not quite sure why he just...
Talk to me. Why is that happening?
Let me take I'm going to take one guess, just because I can.
Wait, did he only load one clip?
Yep, loaded one clip, so in case there was an early engagement, he can get some shots off. And now he has nothing left, so he cannot get ammo racked. Because they do not want this 5100 to get ammo racked on the way there, because he basically can't be pushed at that point.
Really?
Turret falls off, turret starts blocking things. I think he could still be pushed, but wouldn't be as effective.
So you need to have the turret in order to push it effectively.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, because he's being pushed, I don't know that that's necessarily a problem they have to worry about being ammo wrecked. I mean, I imagine it'll slow it down a little bit, but I don't know for sure that it would be impossible to push him without the turret.
Yeah.
Still move that tank corpse.
Now, there's something I want to talk about with this that I don't think we've touched upon, and that's the way that you successfully push a tank on its side. You have to do that with something like an IS-7 that's got a lower the ground hull, right?
Correct, so you don't flip it over.
Yeah, because if you actually have something like an E-100, or let's say a higher mounted tank, if you decide to push this 5100, you're actually going to push so high that it'll flip over. The delicate part about this with the IS-7 is that you're able to push the tank without flipping it over because the hull is quite so close to the ground. And so what you do is you wiggle it. Just keep going back and forth. We move forward
Keeping
slowly.
it nice and even.
Just keep on swimming.
And right as we say that, pump is closing in that E4.
And I like the cover fire. Little blind fires to say, hey, how you doing? Although, that E4, I wonder if HE... how's the HE performance from an E4 in your experience with dealing possibly with maybe splashing the top of the 5100 wreck to maybe damage the IS-7?
Well, two things there. One, I don't have a whole lot of game time in the E4, so I couldn't tell you the exact splash damage it has. I can't imagine that it's going to be anything significant or anything more than, like I said, an E100. And the thing to look at here is...
Oh, look at this. Rude Awakening's not spotted, by the way. He's firing on My Little Putin.
From the bushes, because the light tank is sitting behind multiple bushes, and the I-7 does not have that great a camo value, and My Little Putin just taking a lot of damage. Now, he can have an idea where he's sitting,
but
blind fires, but doesn't know for sure.
Yeah, and My Little Putin's in Russia, by the way, so he's dealing with a slightly higher ping.
But here's the thing, is now Milo Putin knows that he fired all 6 shots. He knows he has about 40 seconds to move that 5100 into position before he has to start dealing with shots again.
Yep. And remember, this is a 1390 with perfect stats, so his reload's even faster still. Little fire coming out from My Little Putin, just trying to see what he can get. Realizes maybe I need to back off and find a better angle to get fired upon. But My Little Putin taking enough... There's a direct hit. That's what he was looking for. And Rude's going to fire 495. So you're seeing how a 1390 can pay off. Stealth is worth it.
He's doing a lot of damage.
Yep, and the shell goes into My Little Putin's
And now he's
gun.
completely safe in that little corner. Going to be near impossible to dig out.
Yep. Although, My Little Putin can now begin pushing the 5100 back, forward again.
But look at the time, though. They've taken 5 minutes to not even get the 5100 on the cap at this point.
Yep, it's almost on cap.
Almost, but that's not close enough.
Nope, not close enough. And their aggressor's going to follow up, so support's on the way, like this. And what you're looking at just a wreck coming towards you. There it is. Comfy, right in the spot. Getting onto cap. My Little Putin will be able to start racking up those purple points.
Now, Milo Putin's gun is sticking through the 5100. That gun sticking through can be reset despite the tank.
Doesn't it depend a lot on the model of the IS-7 gun? Because I think the model of the IS-7 gun, the full length of the barrel that with the hit model, it doesn't go all the way down the barrel. It goes
since the IS-7 got the HD model, I believe that was changed.
Okay, that's
I believe. I'd have to double check on that.
Yeah, because most of the time the gun will go till about. There's actually a weird spot on the camo on the IS-7 gun.
Well, and look at this now. See
that line?
I forgot that Rude Awakening was over there because I was going to say he had the gun turned away so he couldn't get hit. But really, it's just sitting there in case Rude Awakening decides to poke up again. He wants to make sure that he gets the final kill shot on him.
Exactly.
Little does he know, he doesn't actually know how much HP Rude has on him. He doesn't know that those shots connected for sure. He can speculate. And actually, the HE shell reset from Milo Putin just enough. Or from from Puppets on to Rude Awakening.
And what's great
on
here,
Milo Putin.
Rude Awakening can see My Little Putin, right? He knows when he fires, so he knows just like now when he's peaked. And he's going to go for a follow-up. He doesn't have a lot of time. Gets one reset. Needs to drive forward. Ooh, 457 on that little trade back.
And this could be Rude Awakening taking down a foiled IS-7 single-handedly.
Just about.
Rude Awakening playing that spot near perfectly.
Yeah, this will be great for him. Because he not only gets the defense points for resetting cap, but it doesn't look like anyone else is able to accomplish much of anything at all. And Aggressor's trying to pull out, but it's not gonna happen. Well, he's spotted, takes a shell to the back, 438 to pay to leave. And with cap kind of counting down, the big question on everyone's minds is, what is the next move from top tier?
Well, I don't really see a whole one. They've moved these 2 tanks down into the south to try to open up the map. But I don't know that this is going to be enough. Moving these tanks down around here. They might catch this bat chat of Merle's out. Maybe be able to get him down. But there's 50B up in the village still ready to support him, as well as the 113 in the middle road. So that means that the gorilla in the middle for Dare's going to have to get involved, as is the 50B.
And there's the spotting right there. Master Putin, along with Bird, moved around to the south, tried to catch tanks from top tier off guard, and well, I think this is just a few moments, and we'll find out exactly how it's going to break down.
An aggressor takes a lot of damage and loses his ammo rack in the process.
Oh, that hurts a lot.
Puts a lot of damage onto Pompous, though. Pompous surviving on 23 HP.
And Muriel's going to try and get safe, but he's up against Bird and Master Putin, and he goes down. So there's a kill. 5 tanks alive, but 1 just barely for top tier. And on the side of Dare, we have 6 alive for now.
And Burden eating a lot of the shots from exits. Another shot going into Burden. He's down to almost no HP. 168 is all he has. But that's going to open it up for MacTap to push in here and clean out exits.
Yes. And at the same time, we have shots going into X-Soldier in the low ground. Durgil and Newt move around on the 113.
Exits gets caught on the building there. He's going to be able to clip him out. And it's going to be Burden that's actually going to come in here and get the last shot into him.
Yep. Zitz goes down. Now, Hako and the 113 is moved in to take on
Dare
Putin.
Just did the improbable. They're looking good right now. They have 56 seconds to kill the last 3 tanks left alive from top tier.
And smooth moves from My Little Putin.
Now, this isn't over yet. There are 3 tanks alive. 4 top tier, 3,000 HP. HP's basically dead even. And only 1 gun dead for Dares. They still have 6 guns in the fight. Newt takes a big shot from Pompous. Pompous back up, but Burton picks it up from the 0 line. And now it's down to Hako and Delph sitting in the A6 village. Excuse me, now just down to Delph.
Yeah,
Delph does pick up the kill onto Newt.
Masterful 1v1 from My Little Putin, by the way.
This is a lot of HP they have to kill very quickly.
They do.
This is not over.
20 seconds. Durgil's going to be able to come in and take out about half of the hit points of Delph. And now there's the support fire. So, 1 more shell. That's it. Putin gets it, and that's the win.
With 15 seconds left, they get the last kill there. That's going to be Dare 1-0 up over top tier.
Hey, that's one way to start it off. So Dare, I'd say a little bit syncopated in some ways. Wasn't quite on tempo with what they were going for. But Dare's able to do what they wanted in the end. And I have to give props to My Little Putin in the IS-7. I think he played that well. I say also Rude Awakening in the 1390.
Rude Awakening played his heart out that game.
Oh, yeah.
He played that spot near perfectly.
That's about what you want to see. A 1390 not exposing himself too much. I like seeing the way that you play at 5100. Poor Chase Potato. His stats are going to suffer for that one. But you know what? Sometimes you have to be the guy that turns yourself on your side and dies horribly in a 5100. Sometimes that's your job. And you know what? If that's all you got to do to be good, then good.
If it works.
Hey, they won. Chase Potato gets credit too.
Yep,
He did an excellent job turning himself on his side.
Yep, Pompous in that E4 trying to play that corner, got caught out a bit. Merle's got caught out. Exits trying to support his teammates, but they knew he was reloading, so they pushed in, got him down. But the one person that we really didn't put a spotlight on this game is actually going to be Durgil in that grill. And did a lot of damage this game.
And the thing is, sometimes that's all you'll do. You'll just be the damage dealer. And he did a good job at it. But there's not much to follow along with it. And that's why we probably don't highlight it as much. You'll see these guys get to one position, and they will fire on every target that shows up. Because everyone else's job is to make those targets appear.
Look at Rude Awakening. 1,800 damage in a 1390. 105 fantasy points from one battle. Not bad. And then on to the second page. Newt doing 33 fantasy points, 1,600 damage. A lot of blind fire there. 21% accuracy. That just comes down to firing a lot and missing a lot, but that's because he wasn't actually aiming at anything. He was just trying to get some blind fire shots.
Exactly. Sometimes it's really hard to see accuracy as much unless you see a very early brawl. You can't read into it, of course, too much, but accuracy does play some role.
Yep.
And so seeing 100% accuracy means something. Seeing 90% accuracy when 10 shells have fired means you missed one. So usually you can tell based on context values, but sometimes, with Newt, unfortunately, 21% is probably just blind fire.
Well, and I know G-Forcer from Valence he used to be on a team of mine.
Yeah.
I was talking to him. He actually said he prided himself in having one of the lowest hit rates in the Gold League just because how many shells he spent blind firing.
Yeah.
It's not that he's missing shots, but when you spend that much time blind firing, countering every single bush, you just fire a lot. And because you're blind firing, you obviously don't know that anything's there. So just in turn lowers your hit percentage.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll take that. I don't care because I've won matches on blind fire personally. Entire matches have hinged on the fact that we blind fired effectively early on in a game.
And earlier we saw in Eclipse versus Apex, the Utis of Dark God Zim got focused out by blind fire. They never at one point spotted him. That was blind fire that took down a passive scout and it opened up the map for Apex. Yeah. Now that out of the way. We're on to battle number 2. Dare, a 113, 250Bs, a 215B, a T62A, an STRV 103B, and a WZ 132 again for the second time tonight. Top tier, 2 113s, an I7, 3 Batchats, and a Rheinmetall Scorpion G.
Now, that Scorpion G choice, I'm skeptical why.
Already taking 641 damage.
Now I'm more skeptical why.
Has a hard-hitting gun. It's basically, think of it as an RHM that's more mobile. Easiest way.
Does it really hit as hard as an RHM?
Same gun. The exact same gun off the RHM, strapped onto a Panther chassis. A little bit more accurate, more mobile.
I do not feel like that is true. I don't know. It's just I've been
true.
playing it, and I'm not a TD player, so I've just been playing with it, and it's been I'm not good at
it's the same 128 off the RHM.
I'm bad at Scorpion G.
Bad at tank destroyers.
Yes, that's.
And Aggressor, look at this, taking a lot of damage.
Ouch! That really hurts as an opener on an ST on the S tank, but. Maybe not. Maybe he's the one tank that can manage to take them. Oh, Ex-Soldier going down early on.
But look at the positioning out of these tanks from top tier, trying to push across this F line right now, getting a lot of shots onto Aggressor. And now Exits, coming up. Trying to find shots into his side, and this is where the crossfire comes into play. The tanks down the 0 line have to shoot at Exits, and Aggressor has to keep his armor focused towards those heavy tanks in the middle. That's what this is for. However, Merle Skarada, ends up picking up the kill.
Yeah, Muril's a solid Batchat player. He's able to sink that shell right where it needs to, gets the kill, and that's good for top tier. That gives them control. That gives them position. They can start pressing up. They can regroup.
But at
reload.
what cost? At what cost is the real question there.
Yes, because now they have to aggress into a number of heavy tanks.
And they're down 2,000 HP already as well.
Yeah, and they're going to have to pay a heavy toll to get there.
And a lot of shots actually find their way onto Newt to start evening things out. I believe that was Rude Awakening in the Scorpion got a shot from downtown, and Newt down 1280.
Zitz almost gets it, and a shell from Delth just sneaks right up.
It hits the fence. Heat shell fizzes out.
And
a bounce from Newt. He finally pens one, but Delth's going to pick up the kill. And now all of a sudden, Dare are starting to fade right now. Top tier edging into this ever so slightly.
Yeah, solid play. This is where it comes down to individual skill and your ability to just place shells where they need to. This is where Rude expects his players to win the battle on their skill. You've heard him talk about this before, where he expects his guys to do what they need to do. He doesn't need to micro them. He's just going to set them up for success with the strategy. They'll do the rest of the work. And right now,
it's dead even. Both teams down 2 tanks. This 1v1 going on between Akako and Burden Fungus, respective heavy tank players for both of their teams.
And there's a Batchat Zitz to the south. Looks like he's loaded. First shell into Dershel. Second finishes him off. And
great
now
stuff there from Exits. And now
Pompous is pulling back.
Are we about to see a second attacking victory on Ruinberg tonight?
We might just.
And this will be the third one, because if you remember the offline match between Valence and...
You're right. That was...
And 07.
Yeah, Valence 07. Ruinberg attack won by Valence, so they're able to pick one up earlier tonight. And Pompous, update on the battle. Pompous is moving around to the south, leaving the Scorpion G. Rude Awakening.
Oh, and look at this flex coming through from Dare.
He's all alone.
And Chase pushing down, trying to open things up. They may actually flank the flank right now. They're going to come in, and they're going to find the Scorpion G. Chase Potato out in front.
Yep. Push out. 452. Not a bad shell. And the kill from Chase Potato, but he's going to go down.
To Akako in the heavy tank, and now Burden's going to poke up and over. But Akako's going to find a shot into him as well. And at this point, Burden lost a lot of HP. Trying to angle his armor as best he can. But Akako's just going to take him out. And now MacTap's going to get the track shot onto Akako. Get another track shot. Pompous is going to start edging around the corner in that Batchat. MacTap just staying in the open, looking for the shot. I7's going to find lower plate. Pompous puts another one into him, but now Pompous is out. And Akako's tracked here, and MacTap misses the retrack.
My little Putin. barely alive, and he will down.
And this is going to be the third attacking victory on Ruinberg for the night, top tier. Executing a rather standard attack on Ruinberg, but making it work. Did a good job to get Aggressor out in that STRV. Not the best tank down there, just because of how the armor has to be played. And once they were able to get him down, they got into that village. They got the support fire. Rude Awakening got several key shots into there. Bat shuts down the 0 line, also able to get shots in, and they just chipped away slowly at Dare Rising and ties the series up 1-1.
Yeah, Dare didn't have a strong response. That's what it felt like to me. It felt like there could have been a response, but with a heavy tank lineup and with it very much being dictated by top tier, I don't think Dare was in a position to respond ever, were they? They weren't really in a spot where they could say, we're going to counterattack now.
Yep. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the breakdown and see how that all happened. Because looking at it, if you look at it, this is the moment right here. Aggressor taking a lot of damage. Now, X-Soldier gets caught out in the open here. He gets tracked by the 250Bs. He goes down. Not a whole lot you can do there.
Okay.
However, look at the damages coming out here. Delph's taking a lot of shots from Aggressor. But while that's going on, look at the bat chats lurking here. Muriel and Exits both finding different angles, able to put shots into him, and they slowly work him down. So while they're losing the 113's HP, they're gaining the HP onto that STRV and end up taking him down. That's the first thing you have to disable from their team, is you have to take down a tank in the 0 line if you want to open up the south cap.
Exactly.
Once you get him down, then you have safe cover down there. You have the camo values. You don't have anyone proc sliding you, and you can in turn get shots towards the 0 line. It's very hard to do, but top tier did it near perfectly.
Near perfectly. Now, let's move on, talk about the post-battle stats. Muriel, 3,900, almost 4K that battle. So, solid from him. Right there, the IS-7 from Agahako. Stayed alive till the end, I believe. 3,100. But My Little Putin, Master Putin, Aggressor, all in Dare. Those guys are the ones putting up 3rd, 4th, and 5th as far as damage goes, even though top tier is able to walk away with the win. It's a very strange lineup of damage.
And look at Rude Awakening in the Scorpion G. 1,400 damage. That's not bad for a tier 8.
No.
It's respectable. Did what he needed to do well. Chipped away at him. Now he went down a little bit easy, but once again, when you have a tier 10 medium and then Chase Potato in the 132, not a whole lot you can do in a tier 8 tank destroyer.
All right, well, we are about to go into battle number 3. Let's get straight to it.
Himmelsdorf, a small city map. The teams start the battle in opposite corners. Both bases are located close to each other, but in a way that you can't stay on the defensive all the time. The main attack routes pass through the hill, the alley and the railroad, but in general, the attack can be successfully executed through any part of the map. Heavy tanks and tank destroyers with powerful guns run the show here. However, a lot depends on the mobile light tanks.
All right, Rox, talk to me about these lineups.
Dare Rising, picking pretty much just one of everything. A 113, a 50B, an IS-4, an IS-7, a Batchat, a Grill 15, and a 1390. Definitely a odd conversation or odd mix of tanks. Meanwhile, top tier. A 113, 250B is a Batchat, 4005 stage 2, a T10, and a WZ-111.
All right, so what do you expect as a strategy out of our attacking team top tier? What's the say you're going for?
Based upon this lineup, it seems to be a standard North play, using the 2 T10s, a single Batchat to be the eyes on the weak flank, 50Bs, and the 4005 work the hill. Use the tier 9 heavy tanks as cap pressure, or as just a raw meat shield go up and over. Most likely, and as we're seeing here, as they all go to the hill, looks like it's just going to be a standard A-line play out of them.
All right. In the meantime, Batchat's Muriel is going to head to the south. Watch the backfield. It's a dangerous little play for him. He's going to have to play it safe. Can't get too aggressive. Can't get himself exposed or caught out, or it'll cost his team a tier 10. But
and look at that shot from My Little Putin.
Nicely played, watching the perfect angle, and that's preparation from Dare. That's them knowing
that peak.
Yeah, and just like a whack-a-mole, just put his head back down.
And then he backs up behind the train station so he doesn't take any blind fire from the hill. This whole area is out of render range from the hill. However, if a tank's spotted, you see it on the minimap, you can line it up, and you can normally pretty accurately get some blind fire off into those tanks.
Oh man, top tiers made it all the way to the north cap, completely undetected now till just now. Aggressor peeks out at the right time, spots
it. If they need to push across, they need to take out Aggressor, they need to take control. That's exactly what they're going to do. The guns haven't rotated. This is the problem with these defenses. We don't see teams exploit this enough. Aggressor is not going to last for very long. 250Bs coming in point blank. Now this is where this is the situation the IS-4 is designed for. Has this armor though. However, he's going to drive out in the open. He's going to get ammo racked. And as I say, that's the perfect tank to be in that situation. Doesn't matter. He gets completely run over, ammo rack destroyed.
You cursed him, Roxy. You cursed him. You with the caster curse, like we all do. You can't. It just happens, buddy. And he's gone. Forget about him.
Just like that. But I like.
Dare's got to worry about this defense, buddy. And they're going to be sending 2 tanks, 1390 and a Batchet up the 8 line to try and get in behind this Cap fast. Is it going to work? Is he even going to be there in time? 30 seconds until Cap finishes. And Hako, X-Soldier are the 2 tanks on Cap.
Oh, look at MacTap coming in the Batchet. 4005 on the hill. He's going to take a shot. It doesn't pen. Lucky for MacTap, 693. He is managing to put out a lot of shots, getting some shots onto Rude Awakening. Crossfire coming out onto these 2 tanks that got aggressive. Dare definitely in the worst position, but not out of this yet.
Yeah, 7,000 hit points versus the 6,000 of Dare. 1 solid volley will even this battle up. As far as hit points go, though, as far as tanks alive, top tier's ahead. They have 1 more on the battlefield. And I think that could make all the difference, even though there's a huge death, actually. I believe the death we just saw, that wreck in front of Aghako, is going to obscure some of the...
There's no one in position to get the resets right now. Milo Putin's going to come in, try to get the shot onto exits in the 50B. He does get it. 10 seconds, though. Durzel gets tracked by Aghako. Looking for the shot. MacTap's coming around behind.
Can he be the hero that his team
needs? He should
needs?
get the resets.
First
he misses.
One into the dirt.
He needs to get a reset.
Second to connection.
Doesn't get it. Doesn't get it.
Time.
Cap out.
It's not in time. They need to get the kills. They can get kills.
It's not going to be a time.
That's going to extend the battle. It'll extend the battle. If they can get all the kills, maybe something happens, but they need a kill right now, and I don't think that's going to be in time.
Players just racking up what fantasy points they can at this point.
That's it, right there. Okay, Cap Fast works. Confirming the post-game, there we are. That is defeat by Dare Rising, so there we go. That confirms it. In the event of these strange scenarios where battles are extended, we always wait to see the post-game stats before we want to call it a little too early.
I guess you could say that's deja vu to the I Love Lant match.
Throwbacks. All right, so solid Cap Fast.
I like it. I like
it. I like it a lot.
I've said a lot before that teams need to be aggressive in the north. They need to just go for it because teams they spread all their guns out down the 1-2 line. They get the tanks all the way down there, and they can't guard the 1 or 2 tanks they leave up at A4.
Yeah.
So often we see teams just stop at Cap. They don't want to deal with digging that 1 tank out, and then they rotate. By the time they get spotted, they rotate the guns up north, and they're able to do it. This time, top tier showing exactly how to do it. They push in here, and look, outside of Aggressor, no one's in position to get any damage off. The IS-7 comes from south, gets a few shots, but they got the IS-7 or they got the IS-4 out. That's the guaranteed resets that Dare are counting on. He goes down, and at this point, top tier have good positions. They're able to deal a lot of damage. Now, to be fair, Dare did a good job responding. They found a lot of odd angles. They were able to start chipping away, but look at this. Pompous sitting up there was able to get a lot of shots off. MacTap, fortunate that the 1 shot didn't pen into his engine deck because MacTap arguably should have been dead from that point on. But overall, top tier, I like the idea, showing their homework, recognizing that Dare are going to leave that opening, and they exploited it.
Absolutely. Now, overall, just good play. Dare could have held on. They didn't get the kills they needed. Top tier, going to walk away with this one. We're going to swap sides now. It's going to be Dare Rising attacking now on Himmelsdorf, and a countdown has begun. Looking at the post-battle stats real quick before we get into the next battle. Batchat, Master Putin led the way. Of course he did.
Yep, 2,000 damage, 2 kills, 60 fantasy points. But then, looking down, Exits 3K, 48 fantasy points, and then Pompous even 1,800, 53 fantasy points. And Aggressor, one of the highest damage-dealing players in the league, only able to get off 463. X-Soldier in the Tier 9, putting up 86 fantasy points. A lot of the cap pressure was with him.
Absolutely. Now, let's get ready to go into battle number 4 on Himmelsdorf. This is going to be the chance for Dare Rising to even the score.
Lineups coming in. Dare Rising, a 113, 250Bs, an IS-7, a Batchat, a Grill, and a 1390. Top tier, a 113, 350Bs, an IS-4, an E3, and an IS-3. What do you think about the IS-3 on defense?
I'm an IS-3 fan. You know, it's one of those tanks that just you can side scrape with. I know you call it reverse angling, Rockstar, but side scraping. well, you know, it's whatever you want to call it. But the thing is, it's a tank that even against tier 10s, if you angle properly, the spaced armor can really help you out, right? So it's just what you do. It's what you're going.
It's how you have to make that side armor work for you, because the frontal armor on those tanks isn't the greatest. It still can work, but when they have those pike noses, either you can pen the lower plate, or if they try to angle for the lower plate, it negates the armor on the top plate.
And that's an interesting note. Top tier's first capture victory of the season. I know we've had a few other cap victories this season, but that'll be, I think, the first then. No,
top tier.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought there was one in an Apex match. I'll have to check back. But Dare, let's go ahead. I wanted to take a listen in as they're on attack, see what their plan is, see what they're formulating. Let's take a listen in.
God damn it! I'm in my spot badly. I can't get the shot. There we go.
Well, I mean, Mac, be very careful, okay? They might push Mac with like 113 there.
Break that truck so I can see.
What hit you, Kurt?
This is getting
50B.
spotted, right? If this something
Nothing.
fast.
I'm lighting that.
Stealth?
Reloading.
Missed.
I will spot this 50B if he leaves, if he hasn't left already. And I think you guys will too.
You want me to go proxy to E3?
Yeah, do it. 13 50B is a 3 as 4 as 3.
I just got lit by something.
Let me go down A1.
Spotted.
Where do you think from?
I don't know.
That 50B.
Could be the ice or
No, I'm talking Mac.
Yeah, that 50B
sorry.
spotted me.
Oh,
He was in
okay.
the open. I actually had shots on him.
Putin has no HP.
What?
50Bs probably. How do we want to play it?
I go down A1.
Можешь фугасы не третий лучше нет?
Putin, I can try and play more aggressive south if we need to start taking risks.
Что думаешь сейчас делать с вами?
Should I go down
По
A1?
8 проходить? По 8?
Да, она у них практически никто не смотрит. Да можно и по периметру смотреть.
I mean, just... Yeah, this one. That works working. Ну, у них там 4 будет, у них будет там
Yeah, load
4
again.
двойка.
А я
How's this guy lighting me?
Я смогу поджаться под Е3 и просто его разорвать.
У меня хп нет, попробуй.
Я. Просто я могу поджаться под Е3, главное, чтобы все просвечивалось. Я его просто разорву.
All
Что ты
right.
для этого нужен?
That's spotted.
That's Dare Rising for you.
A lot of HP off of Milo Putin. Lucky that he's still alive, but they need to find a way into this.
Although Dare sounds like they're in good spirits. Nothing wrong with that. And they're still thinking, trying to figure out what they're going to do next, what their next step is. And with Chase Potato pinned on the northwest, I think that's the focus of Dare. But I really think that the 1390 from Chase Potato, a mistake Dare could get into right now, a common mistake, especially one that people make almost all the time, or at least time to time, even the most experienced will make it. You focus too much on the one forward tank. I think Dare is going to need to pivot off of the focus onto Chase Potato in a minute and use him and the distraction he's created in order to kind of, let's say, progress their next goals. Progress to that other goal. Because Chase Potato, given enough time, top tier will allow that little light tank to waste minutes at a time. Take this one down to 2 minutes. But if you let him be as annoying as possible, make top tier think that the focus of your attack is focused around that 1390, that scout. Then you can bring something around the north, bring something around to the south, figure out what you want to do, and you can attack and possibly push your objective. Take the win, get the cap, get the kills, what have you.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to move this 50B slowly up the 8 line right now. Try to get him up with the 113. Already have the 50B in the courtyard opposite of that E3. Trying to find a way to counter him out. And Aggressor actually bounces a shot from Merles.
There
And now Newt's going to get some shots into him.
Nicely played. That's Newt doing his job. Understands that the E3 is going to have some trouble getting shots on target.
This is his 4th shell, but puts 3 into him. Not bad.
I think that'll work out, won't it? That's
solid. Chipping away. Delph also taking some damage from the grill up on the hill.
But they're still above 10k hit points on the battlefield from top tier. A little too much in order to reasonably think you can fire. But my little Putin fires. Decides it's time to peek out from the hill. And this is the big move we're waiting to see from Dare. They're going to be shifting their IS-7 up. They're going to be shifting their Bat Chat. Newt's taking a lot of damage fighting Muriel. And he's not able to do quite as much damage as he probably needed to. He's going to have to back out, and I'm willing to bet he's going to pay for it. And that's right. It's 467 from the south, and Muriel's going to peek out. Looks for the shell, doesn't quite get it. But Newt's going to get a little farther away. And now Dare's actually really in retreat more than on attack.
There's bleeding the HP left and right.
Yeah,
Officer really asking the questions right now.
And the answer from Dare is, "Ow, please stop."
Backtap's actually going to clean out Rude Awakening in the IS-3, get some cap pressure going.
Nice play there. He's going to be able to shove himself into a corner and force the response from...
But now Burden Fungus getting caught out alone by all of these guns. He is spotted. 250Bs right behind him, as well as the E3. 50B coming up the courtyard, and a 113 coming up the 8 line. There's not going to be a whole lot of places for him to go. Takes a lot of damage, bounces 1, but it's not going to matter because they're just going to roll across. Put him, actually, X-Soldier's going to come in here, get 1 shot into him. This is point blank, auto out of X-Soldier.
Very strange. And yeah, he's having some trouble. Actually, I'll give it to Bird. He's wiggling quite a bit. So he's...
And another track shot onto IS-7.
Magical IS-7s.
Now he knows exits is reloading, so he's going to turn the armor around.
And Durzel might be able to pick up a kill because of this. Oh, wow. Bird actually... He's really owning this one.
Aggressor... Or Burden Fungus, anyways, trying to get a kill.
Oh, and X-Soldier's bouncing.
Pop finally picks up the kill, but Burden Fungus alive for way too long right there.
Yeah. I gotta give it to him though. Solid play. It's tricky. It's the subtleties of it.
Those heat shells from that 113 just fizzing out all of the armor. X-Soldier struggling to get a penetration, but Aggressor, the last tank, or second to last tank left alive for Dare, ends up going down, and now it's just Malaputin, who's had 266 HP basically since the start of the game after he got shot by the E3 and the 50B. Looking for a shot down through this crack.
That IS-4 from Hako, he's the one looking for the angle, and Is he going to get it? Because he's the one... Yep, he should be able to get it. Is he zeroing on it? Oh, just goes a little bit over. Just barely.
It's only going to be a matter of time before tanks close. He gets a nice shot there.
Hey, it's all about those points, man. He's working on his fantasy game. And also, by the way, when you can waste time at the end of a battle that you've already lost... One of the best things for you to do is to, while the energy is low and no one's distracted by trying to focus on the current battle, they can talk about the next one. So look at it that way. Model Putin's saving time for his allies to cool themselves off and get ready, focused on the next battle of Prohorovka. Even though, by the way, top tier is now going to be up 3. I'm not crazy. They're going to be up 3-1 over Dare.
Correct. Going on to Proc, which is the map that Dare have actually played a good bit, though.
Possibly. Model Putin. He's just waiting.
Now, remembering when we watched that match from Top Tier versus Rival the other day, Rude kind of gave us that whole Prohorovka calling 101 in the middle of that match. So Top Tier definitely have a solid grasp on Prohorovka despite the record.
All right. Well, we'll see how that comes down to it. But Dare's on the back foot right now, and if Top Tier is playing their game, if this is what we can expect consistently from them, this is good things. This is a lot of good things about top tier. And this is
They don't know that each other's there, actually.
Oh, now they do.
Now they do.
Hey!
Milo picks up the kill, a little bit of damage.
Flicks that one off.
I can already see Twitch chat right now just all loving Milo Putin for getting them those extra fantasy points.
8 seconds left. And he's not even going to have time. I think he's even going to try and give himself up, it looks like.
He's looking for an angle on a Hako, possibly.
I almost, not quite. And battle's going to be over. There we are.
And that's 3-1 in favor of top tier.
All right. That is an unexpected place to be in the series. To kind of bring it all back around, earlier Rox, you and I put our predictions on the board, and I gracefully...
Neither of us had this coming along.
No, neither of us had the scoreline for the last
Now,
match.
also, to be fair, we didn't predict Eclipse going to overtime, so prediction game not on point tonight.
I'll say, though, the Eclipse Apex one, more believable than Dare top tier based on the past results to me.
Very true. Very
like,
true.
Eclipse is a team where they're up at that capacity. You could expect them to bring it to a tiebreaker. They've done it before. Now, top tier Dare Rising. Dare Rising, where they sit in the standings, says a lot about where they are. And Dare are sitting... Well, now they're currently in third until this match is finished.
We actually have
we'll know.
We actually have top tier calling a timeout right now.
Oh.
Taking a second, talk over Proc, make sure they don't blow their lead.
That's a smart play. Also, calm down, collect yourselves, because we know what happens when you're up 3-1, right? You're looking at 2 more wins and you sink it. People start getting a little bit excited.
There's a saying in soccer, which I firmly believe also applies here, and that's 2-0 is a dangerous lead. It's enough to give you some confidence, to make you feel like you're doing well, but it's not out of the realm of possibility to be turned around very quickly.
You have just enough of a lead to lose it.
Yep.
It's a lead. If it wasn't 3-1, it would just be 2-1. You're up 1. It's not a real lead. That's not confident. Let's take a look then at the post-battle stats. My Little Putin leads the way with that grill. Yes, he got whacked at the beginning, but
still managed to put up the points. And arguably, sometimes when you start off a game with low HP, you play it that much better towards the end.
But I think we should throw in the fact that two shots of damage happened after the whole battle didn't count anymore.
True.
Like, nothing mattered anymore, and he got two shells out for damage.
But everyone with him on their fantasy team is not going to care, because that's 57 fantasy points.
I'm not knocking that. I'm just throwing out there that he didn't get to deal that damage during the important time.
Yeah, didn't help his team.
Yes.
Looking at it, Newt, 1,700, only 2,600 fantasy points, and then Aggressor, one of the top damage dealers in the league, or the top damage dealer in the league, only able to do 1,400. He's had a relatively quiet night, been put in a lot of tough positions. For Dare to start getting into this, I expect we'll see him start turning it on and start putting up some real damage here, especially on Proc. And if he can't get in, this could be a 5-1 in favor of top tier pretty quickly.
Yeah, and that would be surprising. That would be a real upset. And it would be great for top tier, too, because it's something I've been kind of waiting for. They're a team that in the past, I think you'll remember this way back when Rude Awakening started top tier almost 2 years ago. It's
got to be longer than that.
Actually, no, 2 years seems about spot on. Maybe give or
take.
Let's not mince numbers. Anyway, when he started the team, they actually made it to the finals. First run through.
Yep.
We didn't expect that to happen. We didn't take them that seriously at the start. And all of a sudden, later in the season, they started showing up and they started blowing up. If that's the case we're about to see here, that's the momentum that you expect from top tier. And the thing is, if they can get really good at the end of the season and they can just finish their last match on fire, they can ride that all the way to finals, and they'll do great.
Yep, and that's the danger of being in those online playoffs, especially if you're a team like Dare right now. You don't want to have to play one match to decide whether or not you're going to go to the live finals. Like we saw last season, M60s against 07. 07 ended up beating M60s, knock them down, and that was with M60s being the third-place team, losing to the 8th place team.
Yeah.
Or no, it was the 6th place team.
Sixth place team. It was the 6th place team, just upset. Crazy.
Yep, made it to the finals.
But countdown has begun. We're about to get into map number 3, battle number 5. Let's go to it.
Prohorovka, one of the first maps in the game. Teams start at the regular spawn points as they do in standard battles. Bases are separated from each other by the railway, so the defending team has to choose whether to send their vehicles to the left side, playing them in the centre, or to the right of the railway, occupying the hill and a part of the village. The attacking team usually attacks the first base. However, the teams often go for face-to-face confrontations, 7-on-7, in the hilly terrain at the centre. That's why both teams frequently use vehicles with good gun depression angles and sturdy turrets.
All right, Rockstar. Talk to me about these Dare lineups.
Dare actually have, right now, one of the most winning and used lineups in the league. That's 2 heavy tanks, 3 Batchets, or 3 medium tanks, a tank destroyer, and a light tank. One of the best combinations that we've seen this whole season across the whole league. An I-7, a Kronwagen, 3 Batchets, a Grill 15, and Chase Potato in the T-49, an odd pick for this map to say the least. Looking at top tier, an I-7, 3 Batchets, an STB, an SCRV 103B, and an RU-251.
All right, let's see how it squares off. T-49, I'm still not sold on it. Someone's going to have to really break this one down for me, because for me, the T-49 with the rapid-fire gun is good, but suboptimal
So it
next
fires-
to other tanks, is it not?
Yeah, well, it fires the HEP shells, which they are a quote-unquote high-pen HE shell, which there's not really a thing as a high-pen HE shell because it's still lower than even AP shells.
Functionally in the game, does it work just like a HES shell?
Essentially, yeah, a HES shell or an HE shell. Very similar. So if it pens all of its shots that it fires, and it fires as soon as it can, it has around 4,000 effective DPM. The problem is the HEP shells don't really pen that many things. Even the bat chats, at most angles, it won't pen. It has to get shots basically on the engine deck or just the lower front plate unangled, which with these bat chats moving at full speed in a brawl is not going to happen. So it really cuts down the effective DPM a significant bit.
So it's something that you hold on to, and if it pays off big.
Yep.
If it doesn't pay off, then
Well, and it's a gamble that we actually saw during the live finals between Apex and Eclipse. Wallhacks tried the small gun on the T-49 onto Cliff, and it did not pay off, even though they were shooting nothing but bat chats. He really couldn't get that much damage in. Now, why you'd bring it right now in this situation is a question that I don't have an answer for.
Well, maybe for cap, maybe for camo value.
Its camo
Camo's
value is
pretty good. Camo's pretty good on it.
worse than the other light tanks. Those are better options for camo value.
But it's also quite high up, and sometimes you can use that for spotting. I'm not quite sure. I'm just kind of assuming, but I can't quite see the connection. I'm going to have to ask about that one. Because that's just one of those ones like T-49. Why not derp?
Delph
Why not
taking a shot?
Another
Well, why the T-49 in general on this map? I mean, the whole discussion with bringing the small gun is a completely another discussion on top of why even bring it on Prohorovka to begin with. Del's going to poke up and over, try to get the lights, doesn't get it. Akako's also going to close, try to poke up and over. He might actually get the light here, and that's just going to leave it up to the Kronwagen.
Shot
in
up
the
by
north.
Bert. Tries to hit up exits. Not able to make that connection. Little shots fired back.
And now both tanks are lit. But the Kronwagen up north of Dergil trying to make this STB back down. Puts a shot into Delph, but Delph gets one reset. And here we go. Here's the answer to the question. Look at this. Look at this right here.
Oh.
Turret just high enough to block for a bat shot.
Now I get it.
There we go.
Now I get it. Now I see what.
And that's why they have the small gun as well, because the turrets are different. This turret's actually higher than the one for the derp gun.
Yes. All right, so questions answered. It's all better now.
Because he's not even flinching, he's just taking the damage, and Newt has yet to be reset. And from this angle, that's the common reset angle, I don't know that they'll have the shot. Now, they might be able to sneak an HE shell in there somehow, but from it's going to be a tight shot, and with Dergil right there, I don't know.
Zitz will just go over. Zitz can just take the risk, or maybe the Rude Awakening and the RU. That's a possibility, and that's it. There. Zitz just decides I'm up against an IS-7.
But look at how much HP that just costs exits.
Yeah,
he's down to a one-shot.
Okay, true.
And there's still 6 minutes and 15 seconds left.
But look at the positions, look at the hit points from Dare tanks. Are they really prepared to deal with an attack? Like if there was a real assault from top tier in the north or in the southern part of the map, would that not go well for top tier anyway? Because look at
all this HP. This looked good for Dare for a minute there.
And then
they're just everyone bleeding HP. Only the tank sitting up on the hill, Maktat Putin in the grill, is the only one that has not lost HP at this point.
Precisely. So that's where I'm skeptical about this. It's like, this is great. It seems like there are other tank choices if you want to try something like that, but it's really something I'm going to have to talk to Dare about as to what they're going for, because this also could be top tier responding very well, as we should probably expect, because top tier does know what they're doing. They know how to respond. They know this map. We heard it the other day. They know this map inside and out. So anything Dare tries, it's not just going to work. It's not going to be easy. They're going to have to pay for it. They're going to have to really make it happen. And so I should probably scale back a little bit on that skepticism because, well,
Burden just
we're
being abused
pretty
by
close.
Kako. Kako, one of the best heavy tank players in the league right now. And arguably Burden Fungus is up there as well. And Milo Putin's going to go up and over and try to take out Rude Awakening, but he does not know Pompous is right there. Aggressor trying to help out. This is not going to stop Milo Putin from taking down Rude Awakening, but I expect Pompous. He misses, though. And that could be it. But Milo Putin misses as well. He puts it into the corpse of Rude Awakening.
And a bounce. Milo Putin's going to be able to peek out. He's on reload, though. And he's just a distraction. He doesn't care. He's going to go down, though. And he finally is. So, 4 tanks alive for top tier. Dare alive with 5. Dergil's trying to do what he can, but I think he should be going down pretty soon as he's tracked out in the open.
Tracked. But Del's going to reload and get the kill.
There it is. Okay. 4 on 4. Hit points, 3,700 for top tier, 3,100 for Dare. Your attackers are at a disadvantage in that respect. Newt has not been moving around the map much at all. He's been sitting on this cap and getting reset over and over again.
And Delph takes down Burden Fungus and STB as well, finding the opposite angle underneath the train tracks.
And now it's up to Newt out in the open, exposed and alone. Master Putin in his Grill 15 up top, watching down. Newt, well, he's still on cap. And Aggressor is on the hill. So the crossfire is there. But does anyone actually have cover onto Muriel?
No. MacTap's looking for the angle. Muriel's very smartly using the buildings to protect himself when he takes down Newt.
Aggressor gets taken down by Pompous from the south in combination
now
with...
Now look at this. This actually isn't out of the question if you're if you're Dare right now, because all of these tanks are one-shots except for X-Soldier. X-Soldier will basically need 2 shots provided he doesn't get an ammo rack. Now he does fire 1. He takes a lot of damage. All the Bat Chat's shooting him.
Oh,
he's on fire.
He's burning. He's leaking.
Burning. Delph's going to get another HE shot into there.
And
he is going to stay alive. 255 HP.
He's not going to last much longer.
And Delph just gets the HE shot. You can hear it splash there. Takes him down.
And that's it. That's going to be another win by top tier. That's 4-1. I'm not crazy. I'm not, like... Rocks. It's 4-1, right? I didn't mess that up.
And all I have to say is Delph. Oh, my... Wow.
4,100.
And 5 kills.
Yeah. All right, top tier's on fire. They're good right now.
Where did this all fall apart for Dare? Because at this point, it looked good. And then it stopped looking good.
So here's the problem that Dare had, I think. And I'm going to just go out on a limb on being critical with this one. Newt was there to cap, right? You put cap pressure on. Now, this is a bit of a leading question, but what is your opponent going to do? Post-game stats, take a look at these guys.
Look at Delph. Look at how many fantasy points it is. 140 fantasy points?
Yeah.
That's madness.
So look at what Newt was able to do for damage. He's able to do 2,000 at the end of this battle. I think he could have done more. I think his positioning could have been rethought. I think that there should have been a planned response to when your opponent starts to line up against train tracks and attempt to just kind of like just whittle you down. Whenever that starts happening, you need to know what you're going to do.
Yeah,
you can't just sit there and deal with it, because someone will go over, and you'll just find a moment when it's okay for you to send a tank over to suicide to get the reset.
Well, my criticism is this: if you're going to use a tank to block 4-cap, you better have all your guns on the other angle that tank is not guarding for, and Exodus was just able to poke up and over and get the reset. Now, we'll get back to that in a second, because we actually have an update from our offline match. The last one going on right now. It's going to be 07 versus Valence. We last saw it was 4-3 in favor of Valence.
Yes.
Let's see how it's doing right now.
All right. And so 3-3 is where we'll start off this little story. This journey with Andy Pams going down to a Valence. It looked like a real stomp, actually. And here we have common AMX CDC flip.
And they actually fail to flip. They flip Fossa over onto his top.
No.
Can they flip him over?
And
yeah, they flip him over.
And they flip it back. So, a cute, cuddly little attack from 07. You know what the spoiler about this is, though, Rox? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And Valence is able to successfully defend this battle. So, Rox, with that, the next battle is about to begin. We've swapped sides on Prohorovka. We're loading into it now. Rox.
That just made that loss to 07.
Yes.
Makes this battle so much more important for top tier, because a win here leapfrogs them up in the standings.
So right now, top tier is looking at jumping around in the standings in a manner that is unprecedented.
Yes.
We'll take a look at that in a little bit. Rockstar, first things first, the battle is happening now. Look at the lineups.
There, an IS-7, a Kronwagen, 4 Batchets, and a Lorraine 155. Top tier, 2 IS-7s, 3 Batchets, a Grill, and once again, the Rheinmetall Scorpion G.
All right, and I guess that's probably a tank to note down, see if it kind of pans out. And I'm going to go ahead and follow artillery. Rockstar, talk to me about the Rheinmetall.
So like we were saying earlier, it's basically a Panther chassis with the Scorpion, or with the RHM gun onto it. It is a premium tank. It does print out a lot of credits, so, you know, if you need a new premium tank, it's in the premium shop. It's one worth getting. Now, in this sort of situation, and what speaks volumes to this is they're bringing this into a league match where it's going to shoot against tier 10s. So they have faith in its gun and its ability. So that right there speaks volumes to how it handles itself as a tier 8.
Just with the gun. And then
just with the gun and the fact that they're willing to bring it in a situation where it's going to have to shoot at tier 10s.
And also, gun depression wasn't so bad from what I remember.
Yep, and it's very mobile.
Yeah.
Very sprightly little thing.
One thing I've always liked, actually, about German medium tanks is the height, the profile. Some people say it's a very bad thing to have a high profile, where you're raised up quite a bit. But actually, there's pros and cons. It trades off. There's
it opens
areas,
different angles that you couldn't get to in other tanks.
Yes. Being a little taller, you know this one, Rox, as you are a giant yourself. Being
has
taller,
its advantages.
It has its advantages.
Can reach stuff off the high shelves.
Exactly. You have no idea what that means to everyone else who's not your height. It means a lot to us that you can reach the things off
I
the
also
shelves.
apparently live in a different atmosphere constantly, because I'm always asked what the weather's like up here, but that's a totally different question.
That's a fact, actually. You do live in a colder environment. The atmosphere is usually a little thinner unless you're inside, in which case it should be warmer up top. Airflow.
Exactly.
Yep. Tall people. All right, let's look at these opening moves. Look at the way this is panning out, because defenders west side are in control. East side's going to top tier. So classic east side versus west side. And we'll see how it pans out. Artillery aiming in right now. We've got Chase Potato zooming on Otokako. That IS-7 does not know, and shot out. Goes over.
Now, so back to the point that we were talking about before we had that update
Absolutely.
from the Valence match. The way that Dare ran that strat, when you use the T-49 to block from one angle, you have a Kronwagen and the grill both covering him. So that's essentially 4 guns set up essentially to just take away A6. So really 2 guns and then 2 on cap, because the T-49 is not going to do anything. He's just going to die. And you're also going to count on that Batchat not poking up and making sure he doesn't get reset. So that's 4 guns out of the fight just to cancel out A6. If you look at what that leaves, though, it leaves 3 guns that have to watch E6, and that an IS-7. They had a Batchat, and I believe another Batchat. I think it was 2 Batchats they had, just to deal with E6 in the middle here. And I looking at it, top tier recognized that was the weak spot, and they were able to just poke up and over. And while exits took a lot of damage, it was still the weak spot that they needed, where they grouped up their tanks and they managed to find an overmatch onto Dare and take down a lot of guns and neutralize. Working that angle really opened up the tanks in the north. So what I'm trying to get at is I think it was just a misappropriation of tanks from Dare towards the south. I think they should have had more tanks focused on the middle and just worried about tanks poking up and over at A6 once they actually poked all the way over and got into a place where they could get the reset.
Absolutely. And now, well, I guess it's going to be a little blind fire onto the cap.
Looking at the common spot, Chase already looking for it.
Oh, doesn't even have to. Shot out. Connection 495. That hurts. Took out his optics. That's not really a problem, though, at this tier. Not with these crews. And he's going to be able to farm damage for a bit. So with artillery, top tier's attack is effectively... It's severely diminished by the defensive positions and tank choices from Dare. So Dare, strong play, strong prediction by choosing that artillery piece, and it's paying off right now. So top tier can't pressure Dare to respond in the same way that Dare pressured top tier to respond in our previous battle, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So what do you think happens now? How do you think top tier makes an opening for themselves? How do you think they make a way? Because right now it's really just a time game in favor of Dare.
Once you box yourself into the 7 or the west side, or the east side, excuse me, you have 2 options at that point.
Nice shot by Chase.
You have 2 options. You have to just go for the cap. You have to hold the crossfires like Dare tried to do last game and just hope that you can hold that. Or you have to group some of your tanks up and you have to make a play across the K line and you have to open up the south end of the map. That's why we've seen the meta evolve, especially Apex and Eclipse. They start with the 2 line and then they slowly shift 1 or 2 tanks over towards the east. Instead of just going all out for the east from the start, they know that they need to maintain some control into the south to have a shot, because when you control the south, you control that F line, you can then get shots up the 5 line. And guarding that 5 line is what you need to do to stop tanks from getting resets onto the 2 caps. So that's why we've seen that's a lot more of a common strat. And these Batchats actually do the jump over the trade tracks. Merle's is spotted.
Yep, and with that's going to prompt a shift from Chase Potato. And Artie's going to be moving to the east. And I think maybe Dare's picked up on this. They might go for a total
well, look at this. They're going to go with the split. They've left that 7 in the middle. But they have 3 tanks opening up the F line. And when they get up on here and they they peek this ridge, the IS-7 and Batchat up at A6 can peek over on that side and complete the crossfire and leave these tanks with not a whole lot of cover.
And that's if Dare doesn't respond by actually moving any of their tanks.
Which doesn't look like they're doing at this point.
Yeah, but if they decided to group up and attack to the north or to the south and go up and over, they could actually leave top-tier tanks completely out of the fight, effectively nullifying their damage and effect for maybe up to 45 seconds, even a minute, depending on the tank. And actually, Rude Awakening is spotted, shot out by Artie. That's most of his hit points.
522 gone right there.
Sorry, not most. A little less than half. Correction, my bad. That still hurts. He had to burn, I think, his med kit.
And it set off his fire extinguisher.
Oh, that hurts too. So now all he's got is chocolate. And Muriel, in an engagement right now, is taken down by 782 hit points, and he's on the way to find Artie if he can.
They're going to go up and over, and this is looking good for Dare. The response is solid, focusing out onto these tanks. It is top tier that actually get the first kill and take down Burton.
If Chase Potato goes down, this is good for top tier. This means they have options. They can start pressuring Cap.
HP is basically even. Akako coming over, finding Durgel. Rude trying to find a shot into him to help Akako.
And the response, there's a lot of Batchats that just ran themselves into the backfield in order to deal with one single Batchat. And now
But there's no cap pressure from top tier at this point. They are about to lose Delph. Now, Rude Awakening still working this ridge in the Scorpion, trying to find some shots. Has an angle on Malaputin. Still alive. Delph is reloading as well. Rude's going to find the shot onto Malaputin. X-Soldier does pick up Durgel, and this is all of a sudden not looking that good for Dare.
No, not at all. 3,900. Although, Rude Awakening can go down pretty easily. Zitz, Pompous, X-Soldier, those guys are all together. But the Scorpion G, Rude, I'm expecting to see someone just start engaging against him. Because Newt's almost reloaded, so he's about to peek up on towards Rude. He should be able to get the kill there and stop out top tier, but with 2 minutes left, tell me if you think I'm crazy, but come on, top tier shouldn't be able to close this one out. It really should be Dare able to hold on if they play it
With
right.
this amount of time, yeah, they need to get Rude down, and that's going to be Newt coming across here, gets one shot, looking for the second, doesn't get it.
It was a thin shot.
Yeah, but all the Batchats need to close, and they need to close along the E-line. What has to happen is they have to get in here, they need to get a reset, and Newt's actually going to get the shot before Rude can get it off.
Good.
So now they need to close, they need to get a couple resets, and then have a tank run away, essentially, at this point.
Exactly. In 29 seconds, Master Putin's going to be caught out, takes one shell from X-Soldier, so that's going to slow him down. Newt's still spotted, so Newt can actually play a distraction game. If he decides to go wide, he could pull guns from Pompous and from
Aggressor
exits.
has plenty of HP, so he can eat a shell from both.
And if he moves in at just the right angle, he avoids getting spotted, approaches through the bush, so he doesn't get spotted.
Newt takes shot, Pompous gets reset, they reset exits as well.
Wonderful play.
And now tanks just need to leave. Why MacTap's still committing, I don't know. He just needs to leave. Pokes up and over.
There we go. Focus fire, get the kills.
Gun just needs to run away at this point. Why they're still engaging here and losing HP, I don't know. Exits is still alive, still in a Batchat.
Aggressor's healthy enough. He can dip down. X-Soldier shouldn't be reloaded in time to get any form of a kill shot.
They need to go to different parts of the map.
This is true.
Exits is going to stay on Newt's tail, but this is looking good for Dare. A little bit more risky than I like, but taking guns down nonetheless. And Newt actually gets spotted. Exits has one shot to deal with him.
Shouldn't be able to live through this. No, he won't.
24 seconds. Now, the thing is they don't know that was the last shot out of Exit, so it's really going to come down to X-Soldier to get the shot here, and he needs two of them at this point, which isn't going to happen, provided he doesn't get an ammo rack.
Yeah, miracle ammo rack to do it. And that's actually going to extend the lifetime for Dare in this series, bring them up to a 4-2.
And we're going to go on to Mines, which is a map that top tier, I haven't really seen them play a whole lot this season.
Yeah, that's a treat, man. It's just going to be a surprise. What are they going to do? What shall they do? How will Dare get themselves back into this series? How are they going to do that? They're down 4-2. They can't afford a single mistake. Tiebreaker is the only way they get out of this one, and they have to do that on Cliff. There's 3 battles in a row where we're going to have to see performance that is just unwavering.
But so far, top tier showing that they're up for it. So not out of this yet. None of us predicted this going on earlier, so...
This is true. We may not have predicted it, but I think we can take a step back here and just say, okay, this is a hard thing for Dare to do. This is a difficult task as for any team. And Apex is the kind of team that shows us that example in the last series that we watched. And here we're seeing something very similar. But look at the post-game stats, all right? Newt, Aggressor, Chase Potato, and Dershel. They're all putting up solid numbers. They've been doing that the whole series.
But look at Newt and Aggressor especially. We're getting all those base defense points, both over 90 fantasy points. Not bad.
That's actually really good to point out. Fantasy points will actually indicate whether or not some of those hidden stats that we don't always display are at play with their performance in the battle, as everyone's pretty much ranked by damage alone. Doesn't account for maybe damage blocked. It won't see cap points, for example. So you look at the fantasy points to tell if anything there was a big
Well, so often we see a lot of Tier 8 players put up a lot of fantasy points because they were the ones getting the cap where they got the vital reset or a lot of vision.
Yeah.
And so that'll translate into fantasy points despite them not doing necessarily a whole lot of damage. Something to keep an eye on. Now we are going on to mines, which Dare have run some very creative strats, to say the least. The 183s, the grills, a lot of 9-line heavy play. They were one of the first teams that really started focusing on that 9-line. So we'll have to see if they do it in the next match.
We shall see. I like the 183 choices. I like sticking a tank below the hill like that and saying, if you show up, I'm going to blow you up. And it works out. Now, we're just about to load into that battle, so this is going to be the last map of the series, potentially. And, well, it is battle number... 7. So let's head straight to it.
Mines, a small summertime map with lots of hills, rocks and other cover. The teams start the battle in the usual locations, but the base locations are different. One is located in the bottom part of the village and the other one is in the water. One of the key objectives is the center hill. That's why the teams will often select fast vehicles and tanks with strong turrets for cover.
Looking at the lineups, 2 Batchats, 2 TVPs, a 183, an E75, and a T54 E1 coming out from Dare. Top tier, 113, 4 Batchats, a TVP, and a T54 lightweight.
E75. Has there been an E75 this season yet?
Yes, we saw one earlier doing this exact same strat. I believe it was by Dare that ran that same strat as well. Bringing the German heavy tank, getting him up here towards the village, and look at this. This is just a blind push coming out from top tier. The aggression, Rude Awakening taking a lot of shots.
Are they just saying all we have to do is get one win and this is over?
Basically.
And we're just going to YOLO strats it until it happens?
And they're going to find Chase Potato. Milo Putin doesn't get that big of a connection.
And
a lot of damage going off towards both teams. But at this point, the Batchat's caught out in the open. And Rude Awakening being focused down. But they do focus out My Little Putin before he can really get any shots off. And this is looking good for top tier.
All right, I want to hear this from top tier. I want to hear what their comms sound like. So let's go ahead and listen into them.
MacTap fired 1.
I'm still... Oh, shit.
Rude, that's you. Rude, that's all you.
One shot.
I can't. Aggressor's in the back. Aggressor's in the back.
Oh, Hako, you got MacTap.
Aggressor fired 2. Aggressor fired 2. Aggressor fired 2.
Just wait for Eclipse, guys. Just wait for Eclipse.
Guys,
Kill MacTap and wait for Eclipse.
I got 18 seconds.
Hako's gonna get MacTap.
18 seconds also.
10 seconds.
MacTap is dead. Hako's gonna kill him. Like, it's a free kill. Hako, can you
back.
get him? Yes or
Wait,
no?
Poppy, don't poke them.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Aggressor, it might be reloading.
I got him, OG.
Here they come.
They're
counter pushing.
He set me on fire for a shot, dude.
They're pushing in. Focus fire. Focus fire.
Get the TVP.
Aggressive.
TVP track. Nice.
Low road.
I got him. Never mind.
Watch out. TVP. That's coming in.
TVP is
I got
flanking.
one.
I'm down.
I got TVP. I got Burden.
How many times
Nice.
did the 54 fire?
One fired 2.
TVP fires 2.
I got 3. I got 3. I'm coming in. I got 3.
New has all of his... I think he has all of his shots.
No, he fired a couple.
I have 1
Newt has
second.
2 left. Newt has 2 left.
All right, guys, that was one heck of a battle. It looks like it's all over from here. The last kill comes in from exits, and top tier is going to take the series 5-2. And
that just,
Rockstar...
That just made that overtime loss for Eclipse that much more important because this was Dare's opportunity to secure that second place spot. They dropped points on a day where Eclipse picked up 1, which 1 point may not seem like a lot, but that now separates Eclipse from Dare. That's huge.
Absolutely. And let's just take a look one more time at that battle because I don't think any of us saw this coming on any level.
This is the epitome of hold my beer strats.
Hold my beer tactics. Throwbacks to Simple Tankers, now known as rival Simple Tankers. And you know what? Top Tier was a team known for this as well, so let's not discount that. These guys...
if you look at this strat, it's well thought out.
Yeah.
Hey, look, they have a 183. All right, he may blap one of us, but that's going to be another 4 bat jets right behind us with full clips ready to clean him out. So he gets 1 shot off at most.
Yeah, let's guarantee that no matter what, he doesn't get a second chance.
And Milo Putin missed his shot. I don't think he was ready for it. He didn't. I don't think he got off a lot of damage looking at it. Milo Putin, no, he did 824, so he didn't even get a penning shot.
Yeah, that sucks for him. He does not want that. That is not the ideal scenario for a 183. You want to be able to get 2 shells off because one of those is it's going to go that way. Anyway, damage, Pompous, Zits, Exits. Those are the top 2 damage dealers. I noticed that in the middle of the map, we had Alcaco having a serious problem dealing with a single bat chat. That was, I think, due to maybe an ammo rack issue.
Yep, well, he got tracked, he took a lot of damage, and he was worried about...
I saw the way his
he got perma-tracked at one point, or almost. He had to burn his repair kit to get out of it, and then he was afraid to poke up and over, because there was guns further in the north looking on that angle as well to cover him. So he was kind of hesitating there for a second, but really, I think he just needed to push over, eat the shots, and just make sure he took the kill.
Well, on top of that, he got ammo racked in the middle of him. Yeah. Trying to position, and when that happened, he wasn't quite prepared to repair. And if he'd gone out the moment that he got ammo racked, he would have actually probably died.
Yep, and Delph put up a lot of fantasy points today. 11 kills, 1,700 damage, 410 fantasy points. Someone that we really haven't talked a lot about in terms of fantasy.
Yeah.
Backtep, 303 fantasy points.
I think that's higher than the top fantasy points from our Apex Eclipse match.
Yeah, I would believe it. And looking at it, 373 to Merle's, not bad. Aggressor only 290. One of the top damage dealers in the league had an underwhelming night tonight. Definitely one of the players that top tier really shut down hard throughout the whole match.
So I think tonight we can say overall is a night of, well, unexpected matches.
Definitely.
We had a tiebreaker from Eclipse
Valence
Apex.
picking up a win against 07, something that none of us really saw coming. And maybe this is good for Valence. On a side note there, maybe this is Valence picking up their momentum.
Absolutely. And we actually have the post-match interview ready. We have Top Tier on the line. Tell us about that win and what's going on there. Pompous, I now know why you seemed so calm, cool, and collected today.
Here's a real question for you, Pompous. How much of a factor do you think that AK-47 did into intimidating Dare? You think that really paid off for you?
Oh, yeah, it was 100%. It's all in the gear.
It's all mind games. You know how to play this game inside and outside of the battlefield.
Scared, you could see it.
Oh man, I could see it. He wasn't sure how to deal with you, man. He didn't know what was coming.
Yeah.
All right,
you guys
so
are crazy.
That last round on mines, how thought out was that? Was that just a let's go for it, or did you guys kind of count in the 183 only getting off 1 shot and the positioning and doing your homework? Where'd that strat come from?
We watched a lot of replays of Dare playing, or Dare and people running that 183 sites, because it's actually a Navi strat that they basically just lifted and changed a little bit. And we knew how to counter it. So we knew what they were going to do, but then Alcaco just said rush B, and we just we went in, rushed B, and couldn't stop it. So
well, I just don't think they were ready.
Kind of like that. We just focus fired it down really well, and we played extraordinarily well. The prog game was kind of just a little indecisiveness, but that can be ironed out in a little bit of practice, so that's good.
Yeah.
And generally, all the matches were really good, and I think we played really good tonight.
So do you feel that this is how you guys, how to put this? Do you feel this is you guys at 100%, or do you could improve upon this?
I think this is about like 70, 75%, something like that.
All right, so like the lower side.
This is definitely one of our better performances in the league, in the season so far. But I think there's so much more room for improvement,
more potential,
and just practicing a little bit more and stuff like that. I think we'll be a top-notch team for sure.
Yeah, let's take a moment and actually turn it around then. Look back at your growth from the start of the season. You guys started out, Rude Awakening's got this new team together. He gathers you all up and says, let's do this. Where were you now, and how does that compare to today? If you were the guys at the start of the season saying this was how this match would go, what?
Rude had a really good analogy for this when we first started this season, is that we were like a MMO character that was like level 1.
Yeah.
And the more we practiced, the more we played, we gained levels. And I think the last time we checked with him, it was like level 10 out of like 50 or something else. But I think that was a pretty good analogy. I think we're getting close. We're like halfway to our number 100%.
Yeah, if I'm following a little bit of that is, it doesn't matter how much we know about the game. We're not at the level yet. We can't deal with this yet.
We don't have like the cohesion that the other teams that have been together for a while have yet, but we're getting really close.
Okay, I see how that's going. Thank you so much, Pompous. That was really insightful, actually. It was a pleasure to watch your match. And
thank you.
We'll see you on the battlefield next time.
No problem.
All right. That was a good match. That was solid. And I